Michael Mazarang here again, and today we're in Uptown Charlotte in the 28204 zip code. In this neighborhood is certainly one of these old Charlotte neighborhoods downtown that is revitalizing. A lot of people here moving and fixing up these old homes. And this homeowner hired us to do some work in the crawl space cellar area underneath the home. As you can see, this home is very well maintained and has good plants, well manicured, as well as very well maintained foundation. Mortar joints look good, plants look good. And what we're doing today is we're installing some crawl space basement moisture improvements for the home. And I will take you around the side here to the back entry. You can see a lot of these homes here in the Charlotte downtown area have small lots, and so these houses are pretty well stacked up on top of each other, which creates certain drainage challenges for basements. And this house was built 80 years ago or so, and so these old foundations just were built much differently then, and many of them leak. And so we get a lot of calls from this area for basements. And this particular home does have a combination basement slash cellar area. And what we've done is we have completely cleaned the entire floor system. We've also deployed a moisture control program. You'll see here we've got a dehumidifier, and I'll explain how that works in a second. But mainly today the guys are finishing up cleaning up the floor system entirely. We got referred to this job with a licensed mold hygienist who did some mold testing here, and we did a complete floor system cleaning, an industrial mold cleaning service of this floor system. So we've cleaned every speck of mold from this crawl space environment, as well as demolished the old office that was built down here that had a lot of mold in it, completely dismantled that. And we brought the licensed hygienist in behind us to clear us. So we have a mold clearance testing certification or summary that was done by the licensed mold hygienist. And we're now deploying the last part of the project, which is to clean the floors we first talked about. And you can see here that we've employed a new vapor barrier. We've also done what's called an ATMOX system on this home. Contrary to what people will research, you cannot encapsulate an old house like this. It's physically impossible to do so. So what we've done is we've deployed a controlled ventilation system on this house, and you can see there's a dead corner fan here and a dead corner fan here. And these dead corner fans will run in concert with the dehumidifier to help move the air around this environment. So as we walk over here, you're going to see another dead corner fan. Total of 4. There's another dead corner fan. What people don't realize is dehumidifiers do not run very well without help from supplemental fans. And you can see here we have a Santa Fe Ultra 70. Not a very big unit. Certainly don't need to have these big gargantuan dehumidifiers when you deploy them in concert with a controlled ventilation system. This is the ATMOX ACE system, and they've completely redone their controller. And the ACE controller is by far my favorite system upgrade that they've had for about 2 years now. Simple to connect with the quick connects. We've got a data wire going upstairs where the control box is. And the control box will show this customer exactly the conditions down here, relative humidity, temperature. Basically anything that they would need to see are at their fingertips upstairs to be able to tell us what the conditions are down here. That controller can also go into alarm if there's a problem. Let's say the dehumidifier breaks down. Let's say that the sump pump that we have deployed here breaks down. Well, this system is equipped with an alarm system. This alarm sinks down into the sump and is tied back in to the B-Box hub, which goes up to that controller upstairs. So if we have a pump failure, the customer will know that in real time. Our competitors do nothing, next to nothing about controlling or sensing the environment inside of crawl spaces. They might deploy a battery-operated relative humidity monitor, and of course you got to change the batteries with that. Also, I also see some companies will deploy the moisture sensor for the dehumidifier and tie it into some app on the phone. What we found is, well, that sensor is built inside the dehumidifier, so you're not really getting a true reading of what's going on in the environment 30, 40 feet away from where the DEHU is deployed. So our sensor is inside the crawl space proper. And where is the wood moisture sensor? Right there. You can't have a system that's going to be accurate unless you've got a wood moisture sensor. This little piece of southern yellow pine with a probe stuck in it is the most important piece of information that we can stick back to that controller. This is reading the wood moisture in real time, and if it goes above 18%, we're growing mold, and this system is going to go into alarm. So a system is only as good as its sensor package, and some customers don't see that value, but a customer like this that wants to have the controlled ventilation tied in to their dehumidification system and the network of sensors is going to have a much more long-term control over this environment. So these people can now safely bring their stuff back in. They can store things in here. As you can see, they have their exercise equipment deployed down here, and it'll be completely safe to do so. They can bring paper products, boxes, things of that nature. Naturally, when you're going to store things in an environment like this, you're going to want to store it in a tote where you can lock it in, make it airtight. Also, we decided not to waterproof this compartment, as many waterproofing companies might do. This old foundation is really susceptible to foundation problems. So I recommended not to waterproof this house. Since they don't spend a lot of time down here, the best thing we did was just clean the walls and put 2 coats of Drylock paint on this wall, which manages about 90% of the water intrusion problem in the first place. And we're just cleaning the floor up really well. Yes, when it rains really hard, they might get a little bit of water in here, but they can very quickly squeegee it off to this commercial-sized sump basin and the water's gone. And that saved the customer about $15,000 to not waterproof this house and do the potential risk of damaging the foundation. And that's really an important thing to understand. You cannot jackhammer around some of these old 100-year-old houses and not incur some foundation damage. So it's really important. Using liquid sealers over hard wall sealers. If you got a waterproofing contractor that's trying to tell you to buy hard wall sealer, show them to the door. It's much more effective to do a liquid sealer that is not going to cause mold to grow behind the panels. And that's exactly what will happen. By using this step for the next 10-15 years, this should keep these old masonry walls dry. And in another 15 years, you can apply another coat or two if as needed, as it chips away. But certainly by far cheaper to deploy and a lot safer for these old bricks. So, but that was the main reason we wanted to show you these different features of a controlled ventilation system as opposed to a fully encapsulated system. We're actually going with how the place is built. The stacking effect is going to bring most of the air upstairs to the first floor, second floor environment very quickly, because the older the house, the more aggressive the stacking effect is towards the attic. So we want the air quality down here to be super, super clean. No mold, clean floor system, really clean concrete. We're using a variety of cleaners to really scrub this down and make this really clean for the customer. We're also damp wiping all of their equipment, making sure the floor system was properly cleaned, power washed. This place is spotless, and we're gonna have, again, the hygienist will come back one more time to check the floor, make sure that we've gotten all of the impurities here, and that'll be their second visit here. So You know, we want folks to realize that we're a completely open book. We want people to check behind us to make sure we're doing our jobs right. So anyways, appreciate you being with us today with the guys and the team. They work really hard and often don't get appreciated for that hard work. So we're very grateful to have them here today, do such a great job. And these folks here in this 28204 zip code, we certainly would love a phone call from you guys, and we're happy to work on your house too. This is one of your neighbors here, and we're certainly glad to help you too. But this is Michael Mazarang. We're going to sign off here, and we're going to see you on the next one. We hope you have a good day. Thank you so much for joining us.